Hey guys, welcome back to the Conservative Patriot. My name's Keith. Hope you guys are doing well today. Hey, wanted to talk about this video from UVA that came out about 4 or 5 days ago, where a black student goes into a multicultural center and basically says that there's too many white people in here. You have more than enough places to go on campus, and this room is only meant for people of color. Multicultural center only for people of color in her mind. Really? So watch the video. I have it here, and you'll see and you'll hear in her own words what she thinks a multicultural center is, and how offended she is that there are a lot of white faces in that room. So take a look at the video, and I'll give you my comments when we get back.
Public service announcement. Excuse me. If y'all didn't know, this is the MSC, and frankly, there's just too many white people in here, and this is a space for people of color. So just be really cognizant of the space that you're taking up, because it does make some of us POCs uncomfortable when we see too many white people in here. It's only been open for 4 days, and frankly, there's the whole university for a lot of y'all to be at, and there's very few spaces for us. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Isn't that crazy? How crazy is that video? I mean, that is the epitome of racism right there. I don't care what color you are, black, yellow, white, green, purple. If you're a racist, you're a racist. And what this girl is doing is racism to the 10th power. She's basically saying, look, this multicultural room is only for people of color, and there are too many white faces in here. Well, last I checked, white is a color, and a multicultural room is not a multicolor room. It's about people of different cultures getting together and learning from one another. So you could have a person from, I don't know, from Russia who happens to have a white face, or a person from Russia who happens to look more Asian, or a person from Russia who is black, but they're Russian, and they're in this multicultural room because it's multicultural, not multicolor. So again, I think that this young lady needs to get a grip on reality and realize that her comments are racist. And I don't know where she grew up or what, but it's obvious to me that her parents and her friends and whatever are basically telling her that that people of color need to stand together, and stay away from the white faces, which is horribly racist. And for her to have the audacity again to stand up in that room and say that white people need to scatter and go across campus because there's plenty of other places for them to hang out makes zero sense to me, because I'm sure there are plenty of places for everybody to hang out. It's a college campus. It's supposed to be one of the most liberal places in the world. When I went to college many years ago now, there was a multicultural center, and there were people in there from all over the place. White, black, Spanish, European, it didn't matter. It's a cultural room. So I remember going in there, and there were French people in there. There were people from other Eastern European countries in there. There were Spanish people in there. There were we had a lot of Puerto Ricans in the town that I went to college in. So there were Puerto Ricans in there, and there were people from Guatemala in there. I remember one of the guys I used to hang out with from Guatemala. He was a really good soccer player. But so there were all kinds of people in this multicultural center, and that's what it's for. It's for these students to go there and learn about other cultures, and where a lot of people grow up, you might not have a lot of diversity in cultures. Where I live right now, there's not a lot of diversity. I grew up, in the woods of northeast Connecticut, and there's not a lot of diversity up in this part of the state. It's a lot of just white people up here. But going to a college and broadening your horizons and having these multicultural centers allows you to kind of open your eyes and say, hey, you know what? There is more to the world than just where I grew up. And you can learn about it from talking to these other students, which is exactly the point of this. You open your mind to different ideas and different cultures and learn from it. I remember I would go in there all the time because there was always some kind of different food being cooked in there. It was amazing to learn about cultures through food, which is one of the best ways to do it. Brings people together. You're all eating and talking and joking around. It's a great time. But obviously, this girl doesn't get it, you know. And when she says that this room is for people of color only, that should be a red flag right there. It's like, you know, no, you need to go talk to somebody and find out what the world is about. You're not in your own little segregated area right now. You know, I don't know where she grew up. Maybe it was predominantly black or whatever, but again, she needs to open her eyes and see that there is more to this world than her section of you know, the area where she grew up. But you know, for her to get up like that and say that is so racist. I hope that the University of Virginia expels her and says, you know, that is not appropriate and we will not put up with it, and you are no longer allowed back here. And you know, you go to another college, and maybe you've learned your lesson by saying something like that. You know, you don't want to do that. You want to open your mind. You want to be accepting of everybody. And you know, it seems to happen more and more on the left than it does on the right. And I mean, just go back in history at all the votes that we had in this country for civil rights and equal rights. It's all been Republican driven. It's never been Democrat driven. So just go back. I mean, even, you know, I'm sure someone's going to say, oh, well, look at the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. Yeah, well, that was driven by the Republicans, shut down in the early 60s, and then brought up again by the Democrats in the mid 60s because they had their midterm elections coming up, and they knew that they were going to lose unless they passed that bill. So that's the only reason that came up. Don't let your family or professors fool you that was a Democrat driven bill. That was completely Republican. But yeah, so go back in time and look and see where the divisiveness comes from. And especially, you know, from 2008 to 2016, we had the most divisive president in this country who just happened to be half black, half white. You would think that a person like that would be able to bring the country together, but no. His policies and his anger brought us further apart. So, and I'm sure that's where a lot of this girl is getting her views from, because she's young enough to have grown up in that period where the country was being divisive again. But again, let me know in the comments what you think about this video. I think it's absolutely horrendous. You know, it's racism to the 10th power, and it should not stand. So hope this girl learns her lesson and you know, moves on from this with a open heart and open mind. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to this video, and always remember, stay on the right side. Talk to you guys soon.